You're listening to 515, the Ultra Podcast, the show that invites you into the lives of people who make up the Ultra family. Here's your host for these conversations, Larry Ryan.
Thanks, MJ. Today is going to be a short episode for you by my standards, but it has the information that people have been asking for since we broke the news on our live stream back in May. UM New Zealand update coming your way. So today's episode was supposed to be longer. I was intending to break the news on two new ultra races. The new UM New Zealand race and a new event from race director Jen McVeigh. Unfortunately, Jen has been unable to record with me as she has been dealing with some pretty heavy family issues. I'm not speaking out of turn here, as she did write about it publicly on her Facebook. All of us in the Ohana are saddened for her after the recent loss of her father. Please send her some good vibes. If that wasn't enough, she has also been dealing with the Ohana Loa board nulling her contracts for Ultraman Florida and Ultraman Arizona. As this podcast is the place for news on the Ultra family, people have been asking me about this since August of this year, when news was starting to leak out. Recently, there's been a lot of back and forth showing up in social media, and also behind the scenes, things have been happening. In the next episode, which may even come out a little bit early because I know this is time sensitive for a lot of listeners, we will try to bring you up to date with what is happening and why. And I will have Jen on when she is available to promote her new event, which sounds quite interesting. But now, let's talk some great new news from the 515 world, a new race and a new location from the well-established UM brand Down Under. My next guest is no stranger to the podcast. He's been on numerous times. He is the race director for UM Australia and now also the race director for UM New Zealand. Welcome back to the podcast, Jeff Morris.
Hey Larry, welcome to you and everyone listening around the world, the following of the 515 Ultra podcast worldwide.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's nice to catch up with you again now. It's been a little bit of time since we've worked so hard on doing that live stream of your race in Australia. I know that I've been getting a lot of feedback on that and how popular it was. Probably you get more feedback than I do. So can you tell us a little bit about how it went from your end and what the racers were saying when they came to share that with their friends and family that wanted to watch them from around the world?
Yeah, the live was an interesting one. You know, as we know, kind of at the time and soon after, there was a bit of a buzz. I think it was Ian Blatchford at the awards said his grandma had seen him race triathlon for the first time ever in his long career, which was amazing. But we're now 3-4 months afterwards, and fairly regularly it pops up that people are saying they saw X or Y on the live coverage. I know a couple of my dream team that were neck deep in the race have watched it back. I think Jill was talking about something you were talking about, Andre, and at one point in the coverage, and she was just watching it randomly and burst into tears. I know Shane Duffy has watched, I think, probably every minute of the coverage. For me, that's so many 5-on-5 races, and is so busy in his own business when he's not training and racing. He's somehow found time to, I think, watch every bit of the coverage. I know I've ducked back to see a few things, and yeah, it's an amazing memory for us. It was amazing at the time, but to have that as a memory as well is it's pretty awesome, and we were very glad you could come along and do it. And as you know, we're kind of working out how to make it sustainable into the future, and get it happening at our sneaky new race. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about your sneaky new race in just a few moments. Yeah. And for the listener, we are already planning to do that again for UM Australia. And we've been, thinking about how we can improve upon it from what we did last year. I think we did do the main goal last year was to do a proof of concept that it could be done, that I could, produce it from here in Canada while you have your assets on the ground there in Australia. And sure, there were a few glitches along the way, as there is with any technology, but all those types of things, sourcing out the problems, and now we can move on and make it a little bit bigger and better, hopefully, for the race coming up. Now, let's talk a little bit about that race coming up. You recently released the field of people that are going to be racing next year already. So that means that you had the full field. Tell us a little bit about the people that are coming to Australia next year.
Look, we've got a good mix of people, some returning athletes, a whole stack of new athletes. We've actually had a lot of guys coming from India. There's a few that didn't make the launch because they weren't 100% about visas and commitments, and I'd let them have a little bit more grace in time. So yeah, we'll have 55 people, our stated start contingent there at this stage. So there's a few people that didn't make the launch that will reveal to everyone later on, and that'll pop up on the website. A few of the old stages coming back. We can't stop Shane Duffy coming back, so exciting to have him. But yeah, there's a few other guys that have been involved. There's a few people that knew they wanted to do New Zealand. There was a massive allure to them, and a few people I know are doing Australia. Seems a weird thing to say, but I think they're almost doing Australia as a practice. That's their B race. The A race is going to be New Zealand. So there's a few people new to the tribe that are going to come to Australia, and we know they're going to love it and enjoy it. But deep down, I think for them, a couple of people, it's going to be a little bit of a test for New Zealand to.
How many people do you have trying to take on the double?
I think at this stage there's about 6 or 8.
Okay.
We'll reveal the New Zealand field soon, but yeah, there's I would say 6 or 8 is about the number. But to say when I talk about that B race, A race, there's a couple of people I know that definitely New Zealand's the target, but they're new to the distance, so they're like, I want to put on a good showing in New Zealand. Year one, so they're coming to Australia to fine tune their 515 racing ability.
All right, I will assume those are probably some Kiwis that are going to be doing that, but we don't need to give away any of the people at this point yet.
Yeah.
And do you have anybody that might be coming to crew in Australia to get a feel for it and then do the race in New Zealand as well? Has that popped up as an occurrence?
Haven't really talked to athletes too much about crews. So no, not sure about that. There's certainly a good Kiwi contingent coming to Australia, and that's always been the case, and that's one of the big drivers of us going to New Zealand is that they've always come here to do the race, and give them a chance to do the race on home soil. So yeah, I'm sure there'll be a few people that will be sniffing around in Noosa in May. Taking a few notes, ready to execute New Zealand strongly.
Right. Well, your Australian race is going to be May 9th to the 11th this year. And the New Zealand race, the new race that you broke on the live stream. Thank you for doing that. We appreciate that. That's going to be in December. So December 11th to 14th. And for my North American listeners, just remember that's their summer. Okay. They're not going to be out there in the snow of Christmas, even though they get snow down there and have some nice skiing, I hear.
Yes, it's right next to the ski fields, and yeah, water temp's an issue because Lake Wanaka is a glacial lake, so they have a big snow season next year, and we get rain. People are going to be cold, and when I say people are going to be cold, I'm talking about the Australians because you know, Canadians and North Americans all laugh when we go, oh my God, the water temp's 16 degrees. They're like, that's an ice bath for us. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about this New Zealand race. Tell us about where it's being held. Tell us a little bit maybe about the reason why you chose that location within New Zealand, because we know New Zealand's although it appears small on the map, a large country. It has a lot of triathlon history. So tell us about where it's going to be and why you chose that spot.
Yeah, so New Zealand's an amazing place. Beautiful, beautiful. Just, yeah, some amazing things with the mountainous ranges they've got, and as we spoke about, ski fields. As far as, you know, sport and multi-sport goes, yes, they've got a couple of events, major events down there. So Ironman New Zealand, based around Taupo. I'm saying that wrong. There's a better way to say that. I apologise to all the New Zealanders that are listening. And then Wanaka, where there's been Challenge Wanaka for a lot of years. So they were a full distance race. They've been a half distance race for a number of years now. So those were the two primary choices. You know, 515 is a bit different in how we've got to design courses. So there was a number of must-haves as far as course goes and facilities go. And realistically, Taupo and Wanaka were the two front runners. But what I found, the deeper I went, the more support and the more we were going to be a really good fit for the Wanaka community. So, yeah, I designed some courses around down there. I trawled through traffic data. Yeah, I pay for traffic data in Australia to establish courses, but in New Zealand, they give it to you.
Oh, yeah.
And by give it to you, I mean the biggest spreadsheet I've seen in my life. It's nearly 2 million lines of data in one spreadsheet, which is every single traffic count that has ever been done in New Zealand since they started doing traffic counts. So I trawled through data about where routes were and played with a few different options, and found something that it's safe, it's challenging, it's interesting. It's going to be a tough course. It is.
We'll get into the course in a minute. I've looked at those profiles, and yeah.
Yeah. So we found actually a really good fit. We found a good fit with the community. I found a good fit with courses. I linked up with a couple of people along the way, and some of this was prior to May when we announced. You know, this has been bouncing around in my head for 12 months, coming into May even.
Right.
And yeah, it just became obvious that it was a good fit for UM. So we're really excited that I've made the good call there, and over the next 12 months plus, we're going to pull together something that's as amazing as Australia and does justice to our UM brand and does justice to the distance, and what this race represents over, 40 years, really.
Yeah. And for the people watching the live stream, they got to see what the surrounding area of Noosa looks like and how beautiful it is there. I'm assuming probably matching in New Zealand. Tell us a little bit about the Wanaka area, though, for people that maybe haven't been down there. Is like township, city, what are we looking at? How far until you're out into the mountainous areas where you're going to be riding these bikes and stuff? What's the lay of the land look like?
It's somewhere between a town and a city, I guess. Definitely a small city. It would be smaller than Noosa, and because of the mountains, very much dislocated from adjoining communities. So, you jump on the bike and within probably 4 kilometres, you're going to be on country roads.
Mm-hmm.
So past a couple of towns. So people may know of Queenstown. So Queenstown's about 80, 90 kilometres south of Wanaka. So Queenstown's very famous for being a hub for the ski fields. And interestingly, as you head north from Queenstown up to Wanaka, you go through one of the main ski fields. And as we all know, ski fields mean steep mountainous roads, and because that's a road we're using for UM New Zealand. So, so your Queenstown to the south, and then Haas to the north, which is where we ride day 2. So, you're riding through the mountain range, but basically in the middle of the gorge. So, we don't take you over too many pointy bits, but you'll see the pointy bits either side of the road that you ride.
Mm.
So yeah, it's fairly remote. It's going to be it is going to be spectacular. I love the Noosa course, but this is going to be every bit of the Noosa course and then some for spectacular scenery and a real experience. We know this race is an experience thing. It's not just a race, and it'll be
Yeah.
amazing for athletes and crew.
Mm. And a lot of people know New Zealand for being the town or being the place where the hobbits come from. Are we going to have a chance to see any of the locations for the Lord of the Rings that shot their movies down there? Are they anywhere nearby?
You know, I've got to say, I'm not a Lord of the Rings person, and I actually have no idea where Hobbiton is. You can Google that, but I don't actually know if it's near that. So
Okay.
yeah, sorry, I apologise to anyone listening. You'll have to Google where the Lord of the Rings places are, because I just don't know if it's anywhere near where we are.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
I can tell you, we go past a racetrack. You know, I'm here in my McLaren Formula One shirt. We do go past a very famous racetrack in New Zealand. So on the day one ride, so we've made sure that there's no. We're letting them know that we're coming past, and that their race meet doesn't finish when people are going to go past that racetrack near Cromwell. So, but no, can't help you out with Lord of the Rings. Sorry.
All right, fair enough. That's all right. Well, let's talk a little bit about your course. You did release some flyover videos of the course on your Facebook page, so people that are hearing this now and thinking, well, what is this course going to look like? What are the elevations? Things like that. And there is obviously the challenge race happening there. Are you using any of the challenge pieces within your own course? Tell us about day one first.
Yeah, so have met with the challenge people. So obviously they swim in the lake. We're going to swim in the lake. That's a given. Their courses are quite different. We use similar run course to them because there's kind of only one place to run.
Okay.
But they keep theirs short and laps to keep people nice and close to the crowd. We can't keep it too short, especially with run, because we'll do many laps.
Yeah.
No, we swim in the lake. So obviously in Noosa we set quite a long swim course. So effectively it's a 4 kilometre lap, two twos, and we do that 2.5 times. And you don't touch dry land in between. It's what it is. In Wanaka, it is going to be cool, and we're not worried, but we're planning that the Australians that don't cope well with the cold may need some warmth. So we're doing 2 kilometre laps on the swim. So it'll just be out and back, 1 kilometre along the shoreline. So you'll actually be able to watch a bit of the swim along part of the shoreline, what they call Edgewater. There's a large resort, and you can literally walk along the coastal path and see the whole 1 kilometre out, 1 kilometre back swim course. It'll be an Aussie exit, so you'll duck out at the end of each lap every 2 kilometres. So that's where you'll get nutrition. So it won't be a paddled race. So we don't need to find a paddler. We don't need to find people paddlers. We'll have a little bit of water safety out there.
Right.
But you'll touch dry land every 2 kilometres. So that's a nutrition stop for the cold frogs out there. That might be your crew. You know, our team will have a few buckets of hot water there, and it might be a case of pour a couple of litres of warm water down the back of your wetsuit to warm you up a little bit, and off you go for another 2 kilometres. So great for spectating, great for tracking of live feeds and things. We're going to know exactly where everyone is every 2 kilometres.
Yeah.
And make sure everyone's still safe and not getting cold and all those things that potentially happen with the cool water. So that's the 10K swim. So at this stage, we're based at what they call the Wanaka Water Sports Precinct. So there's a shed there where they do all sorts of water sports activities out of. So really good setting for us. Day one ride is a loop. So you head what's that way? East out of Wanaka, head east out of town, and then south down to Cromwell, and then head through a road called the Currawa Gorge, which is about 25-30 kilometres of especially spectacular scenery. So that's going to be beautiful. Bit of crew management in there. We're going to have some really specific crew rules through that space because it is a mountainous road. Not huge amounts of traffic. at that time of year in those days, but will be something we're trying to manage. And then from what's called Arrow Junction, which is near Queenstown, you're going to head north. So that takes you over the Crown Range, which is one of their ski fields. So you
I
fairly
was
decent.
I was looking at that elevation coming in the like that back quarter of the course, and I'm thinking, what a cruel man you are to put that at the back
Well,
end.
but I'm not, Larry. I'm not. I'm a really
Yeah.
kind man. Because you do that climb, and then it's literally downhill for the last like 50 kilometers. It's downhill. Like
Okay.
you just sit back pretty much. Uh,
So all the people are going to be watching their watches as they're climbing up this hill, and as long as they got 10 minutes at the end, they can just bomb down. Is that what you're saying?
yeah, that's it. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, yeah. Um, so yeah, it is. It's a great little climb. It's no Alpe d'Huez, but it's a good honest climb. But yeah, the beauty of it is so it switchbacks on the way up that they do,
Mhm.
and then literally a straight run back to Wanaka then. So like I said, I'm not sure a mileage. I'm going to go 40, 50 kilometers maybe. But if you look at the elevation map, it's this beautiful, gentle slope all the way back into Wanaka. So
Okay.
um, so long as the crews don't get stuck at the Cardrona Hotel is pretty iconic over there. And I think a few of the crews, we like the donut stop at Kenilworth in Australia. I think a few of the crews may stop at Cardrona and have a few New Zealand ales
All right.
on Saturday afternoon. Head back into Wanaka to finish that day off. So yeah, so that's day one done. Again, super honest course, and I love it. This was part of my thing. I wanted to do a loop. I want people to see lots of the country, not be going over the same road
Yeah.
over and over.
Right.
And the distance is just about bang on. So it
Perfect.
worked really well.
Yeah.
Day two, we're going to start just outside of town. There's a single lane traffic light bridge coming into Wanaka from the north. So we're going to actually start a little bit north of town. Look, we're talking maybe 5 kilometres north. So people will just roll out there. We'll gear up and send everyone off to head north out of Wanaka. So they go up past a little town called Halwea and then follow literally a gorge between two of the mountain ranges all the way up. They do a little climb over to get out of there and head up to Haast. They get within a couple of kilometres of the ocean. They'll smell the ocean, but they won't quite see the ocean on the west coast of New Zealand.
No,
The
right.
crews will probably want to duck over there to see it, or the athletes might see it on Tuesday, Wednesday when they're doing their recce's, but you don't
Right.
quite hit the west coast of New Zealand. Very close. They loop through the Haast township and then ride back the way they came. So it is an out and back
Yeah.
on day two, and yeah, the little tough climb on the way back to get over the Haas Pass.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
again,
That's
spectacular. I've
it.
done.
It looked on your map. It looks like it's going to be challenging but fun, and going through some even on the little flyover. It looks like it's going you're going to be seeing some nice scenery along there for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's going to be really good, and again, it's part of what we love in Noosa, that it's not just a race. Even just driving that course is a magic thing to do on a holiday. People come around the world to just drive that road as part of a holiday,
Right.
and we send you out on race, and New Zealand's going to be the same.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing. So
Yeah.
we're
And I
excited
noticed
about
on day 3, your design is pretty interesting as well, because you do 2 out and backs, but you come back to Wanaka in between. So there's going to be that touch point to
that.
know what's going on in the race and stuff. So can you describe day 3?
Yeah, so day 3. So there's 2 ways to go from Wanaka, where we're basing the race precinct. Head left or right, east or west, north or south, depending on how good you are with your direction. So yeah, one of the loops is it's about 36 kilometres. So the other one obviously is about 46 or thereabouts. So we haven't actually decided which one we'll do first yet. When we get there and see access and things, we'll decide which way to do it. But yeah, basically you'll do two out and backs, and yes, you'll see the crowd and all the adoring supporters at Race Central. About 40% or 60% through the run, depending on which way we decide to skin that cat. But it's a trail run. which is obviously, it's good path, but compacted granite sort of trail running.
Oh yeah.
So whereas in Nice we're all on roads and footpaths and things, concrete, this one is a genuine trail run. So yeah, again, excited to not be looping around and around. I know there's some advantages to loops, and there's a small chance we might shorten it and do a couple of loops rather than do what we planned initially. But I love showing off the places we're going. So
Yeah.
to do this, if you look on a map, you'll see the flyovers, but we head to Glendew Bay, which is kind of a picnic area, I guess, to the west of Wanaka, I guess you'd say. You're heading all sorts of different directions to get there because you're following the shoreline of the lake. And then at the other end of the course, the longer leg, we go to a place called Luggets, but you run along the lake's edge until you reach the river, then you run along the riverbank. It's just beautiful, and I'm still talking, I met with people from Challenge Wanaka and they laughed when I said, I haven't actually been to New Zealand. They're like, well, how have you done this course? And I'm like, well, we've got Google Maps and Street View and Google Earth.
Yeah.
I've literally sat down for hours at a time clicking 100 meters along each of these courses on Google Earth.
Yeah.
I've seen everything, it's going to be amazing to see it in person, but just on screen, I know it just gives me goosebumps thinking about it because it's just some beautiful countryside, and it gets to show off the region, which is what I really wanted to do with it.
Right. And do you have people on the ground in Wanaka? Like you said, you've been talking to people there. Do you have any people that are like already on board as official volunteers or staff that are like from Wanaka that are going to be helping you out?
Yeah, so some of you might have seen on the flyover, and a couple of times we've mentioned Ruby Fresh Wetsuits. So Ruby Fresh Wetsuits is Eddie Spearing's company. So he's a Wanaka local, mad open water swimmer, and saw a gap in the market for open water, particularly swimming wetsuits and cold weather wetsuits. So Eddie's come on board. He loves the idea. He's like 10K swim. That's awesome. He runs a race called the Ruby Island Swim. So there's an island a little bit further along than our swim course takes us, but you swim from the shore out and around the island multiple times if you want to do longer distances. So so Eddie from Ruby Fresh is super keen to be involved, and he'll manage our swim course. He's already talking about that, and he's already talked about the people that'll be out there in kayaks monitoring it. And
excellent. Yeah.
So he was instrumental in helping me establish that swim course and talking about water temps. He's got 10 years worth of water temps at various times a year, so we know that we're going to be able to have the swim and put people in the water safely. So that's Eddie. Met during the week, me and Tim Franklin met with the team from Challenge Wanaka, so Jay and Colleen and their team, and they're, again, even though it's Challenge branded, they're a community trust race. So it's literally community volunteers that are putting on that race. It's not a business as such.
Right.
So Jay and Colleen were like, again, people get the distances, they just go, wow. And then you talk to them about where we're sending them in their land, the places they know, and they're like, holy hell.
Yeah.
So they're on board. They've given us a lot of advice about local things and things to consider.
Mm-hmm.
So we keep pulling bits of the puzzle together. A couple of the competitors that threw their hat in the ring from there or thereabouts have also contacted me to sometimes get a bit of information, but also offer up their thoughts on things. So
Right.
Again, that's how this tribe works. People get to be involved and really feel a part of it. You're not just doing the race, you become a part of it. So there's a few in there.
Well, you have some people from the Ultra Tribe that are New Zealanders that have come over to Australia that have been a big part of your race in Australia, including but not limited to the world record holder Simon Cochrane. So, what kind of help have you been getting from the New Zealanders that are already a part of the tribe as well?
Yeah, so obviously, yeah, Simon's an obvious one. Carl's another one. So Carl, I head over there at the end of November to do some things on the ground, and Carl's hoping to come down and catch up. Me and Tiff head over to do some more organising. And yeah, Carl's going to come down and catch up with us down there.
Yeah.
Steve York, who was from my point of view, was a big part of why I wanted to go to New Zealand. Steve's, for those that aren't familiar, has done UM Australia twice. Both times he's been classed as a participant rather than a finisher. He's had fair struggle on the run the first time he did it in 2023. Came back this year and missed day 3 by 8 seconds. He went 12 hours and 8 seconds on the run on day 3. But in the spirit of our race and the ethos of the race, you're like, this is life, there's rules. He accepts that, and he gave an inspiring speech at the awards. If you've not seen any of Larry's live, get back and have a look at the start of the awards broadcast. And actually, like I said, Steve is one of the reasons why I planned this race. And then when he got up and did his speech, it wasn't actually planned to announce UM New Zealand, but Steve York did his speech, and I just looked at Tony and I said, this is the moment. And he 100%, you know, we'd really not discussed the deeper detail too much. I kind of knew what I was doing. And but Steve York's speech was just inspiring. So he's someone that I've talked to about some of the cultural aspects. We want to be really respectful of the region and of New Zealand and the way that they foster the Maori spirit and an acknowledgement of their history with that country. So Steve York's helping me a lot with that. With being respectful and linking me up with some people in the Wanaka region to make sure that we're doing the right thing by everyone down there as well. So yeah, those people from the tribe, and you know, there's a lot of New Zealanders that have been through, but those 3 of note are guys that I talk to.
Right.
When I've got questions and some New Zealand-based stuff, but just some things, you know, as recently as last night, the Dream Team had a bit of a discussion about an interesting key aspect that probably people don't realise. Some of the things I'm not going to talk about it because we haven't made a final decision yet, but I actually clicked a message off where we had a group chat with Steve, Carl and Simon asking their opinion on something. And that's what this race is about. It's people that have done it know that you don't just come and do it and you get your medal and go home. It becomes a little piece of you. So yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah, that's awesome, and I'm so looking forward to you taking this race to New Zealand. I know that you said that the people that are racing for the inaugural New Zealand race, again, the 11th to 14th of December in 2026 is going to be your first race.
12 to 14, yeah.
12 to 14, sorry. And so you've got that first field pretty much ready to go, but now people are listening to this and they're like, wait, I didn't know this was happening. How do I get in? Is there any opportunity for them to get into Australia or New Zealand next year? Or if not, what's going to be the procedure moving forward here?
Look, the register forms still sit live on the website, so you can still head to ultramanoz.com. Apologies if that's still a website, but we're working on that. So yeah, if they go to ultramanoz.com, they can click on the register link and certainly drop an application in. Yes, we are full, and there is a few people waiting in the wings, but people's circumstances do change.
Exactly.
And you know, what are we? 8 months out from Australia and over 12 months out from New Zealand. So things will change and we will maintain a wait list and maintain communication with people. So yeah, that's one of those things. As I mentioned, there's a couple of Indian guys that are waiting on visas, and I've given them that grace because, you know, it is something that just has to be done, that you can't snap your fingers and make happen. So we'll wait and see, but yeah, at this stage the races are full. But yeah, if people want to jump on and drop a registration link in, 2 things: they may get the call up this year or this time round for 2026. But if they put that application in, we kind of start afresh after each race for for that. But if we know they say, look, I put in for last year and didn't get in, that bumps you a fair way up the list. You know, we're not Norsemen. We're where you've got to apply 10 years to get in. I think if you applied for 2026 and didn't get a spot, pretty much you're going to be pretty much first picked for 2027, for example. So.
Yeah. And for Australia, you kind of put it at 55 as the accepted number of people, knowing that on race day it's going to be a little bit lower and too late to add people. What number have you established for New Zealand? Are you starting with a lower number because it's the first year and you want to get it going?
No, we're sticking with 55 because a lot of our risk assessments and stuff are done around that number. You know, that was a number that Tony and Craig and Wayne and all those people got to in discussions with council and main roads and police in Noosa when that event was started. It's a random number, I'll admit, but when I started looking at New Zealand and going, okay, well, what's the road size, condition, the traffic data, because I've got 10 years worth of data here in Australia of how we've gone with 55 people on the course, it kind of made sense to go, well, that's our number. So yeah, that's where we've set it. And again, New Zealand Traffic and the Queenstown District Council were really happy that, you know, we weren't just saying, oh, look, we're going to take all comers and we'll end up with 200 people or whatever it was. It's like, no, this is 55. This is what we've shown has worked in Noosa. So yeah, that's the number where we're at in Noosa, in Wanaka as well. So yeah, we've tried over the years to maybe try and sneak a few more in so that if people get injured, we still have that vibe of 55 people. But at the end of the day, if we've got 45 people hit the start line because unfortunately some have been injured or whatever leading in, it still is a really good feeling and a really good number to have, I think, that you feel a part of an event without it being heaps of people or feeling that there's no one else out there. So it's good middle ground for us to target 55, and if we end up at 45 actually on the start line, then so be it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, this sounds like it's going to be a super event, just like your Noosa event. I know the number of hours that you put into this because we talk a fair bit now with doing the live stream and stuff like that. So I'm going to be very excited to see how this all comes together for you in New Zealand and the podcast listeners out there. This is going to be a big event to go check out. I know a lot of people have always wanted to go to Australia. Just to go to Australia. But I think more people want to go to New Zealand just to go to New Zealand than they do Australia even. So you're going to be getting that worldwide participation at this New Zealand event, I'm sure, because that's just that extra little piece that they needed to say, I'm going to go to New Zealand and maybe check out where the hobbits live, but they just want to get to New Zealand. So it's going to be a great event, and I'm looking forward to seeing how this all comes together for you. So
what does Larry Ryan's December look like? Are we going to see Larry in New Zealand, or is I know May's not a good time for you, but how's your December, Larry?
Well, you know what? That's an interesting thing that you should say. Maybe in the next iteration of it, you should consider putting it between Christmas and New Year's so that people can use their holidays to come down and take part in this event.
Oh, can you imagine? Imagine the cruise. I don't know whether people realise, but it's Mother's Day, the May race, the second weekend in May, which is when we have Australia, is always Mother's Day for Australia. I think it's different for you guys, but yeah, it's always this contentious issue that we take people away from their mother on Mother's Day. But I've got to tell you, I had one person who got accepted into Australia, and she is like, "This is going to be the best Mother's Day ever," and I'm like, "It's cool." So it's definitely some people that love it's Mother's Day, but no, Larry, I do not think I'm going to put a race on between Christmas and New Year. But get that leave form in, mate. Get that leave form in. I've got the dates locked in. Mm-hmm. We'll put a room aside for you with the dream team, and you can come down and be producer on the ground.
Okay. All right. We'll take a look at it. We'll see how it can work out. All right, Jeff, thank you for your time today, and enjoy your upcoming F1 races.
Yep. Awesome, man. Talk to you later.
Hey, if you liked what you heard today, please tell a friend and be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. We'd appreciate it if you'd rate and review the show while you're there. Drop the names of the people you think we should interview, and we'll get in touch with them and make that happen. Thank you for listening to 515, the Ultra Podcast, a production of 55 Enterprises. Now really, go subscribe now before you forget.